Well, hello everyone. I'm Hanifa Khalik, running as a strong write-in candidate in this year's United States Senate race. Just a little bit about me. I'm a former school teacher turned lawyer, professor at Indiana University, and small business owner. I'm also a human rights agency director here in Northwest Indiana, where I live and work. I decided to run for United States Senate because simply I saw a need that needed to be filled. That's right, I decided to be the change I wanted to see, and I hit the ground running. I traveled to over 70 Indiana counties last year, held nearly 40 town halls because I believed in getting back to the basics of having that one on one contact, face to face communication with constituents, and also bringing back a level of authenticity, which I believe Hoosiers have been deprived of for far too long. So, being the change that you want to see obviously is easier said than done, but I'm a believer that we have to try. And what sets me aside from each and every single one of the other Senate candidates is basically the fact that I'm here to make a difference for the entire state. Now, if you visit my website right now, you'll see I already have a plan. Lots of politicians come around talking loud, and you visit their website and you really don't see much information. Well, I actually have 33 national policies and agendas already lined up on legislation to put forth once I get to the United States Senate, all the way from climate change to voting rights to women's rights. So why should you vote for me? Because I'm the only candidate in this race with a human rights background, and I believe human rights are the basis for all that we seek to achieve. You can visit my website at hanifakhalik.org to learn more about my campaign, and I hope you'll give me your support. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Hello, New Albany, Floyd County, and 9th District voters. My name is Matt Fife, and I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives here in Indiana's 9th District. I am a public high school teacher, I'm a father of 3 little ones, and I'm a leader in my labor union. And I'm running for the United States House of Representatives because it just feels too polarized nowadays. I grew up in Indiana, in a small town, and we used to vote Democrat, we used to vote Republican, and nowadays it's policies that are being created aren't helping our neighborhoods, aren't helping our communities in the same way that it used to be. And again, those 3 kind of values about myself: labor leader, father of 3, and that I care about. Community issues that affect our neighborhoods. So as a leader in my labor union, I have fought for good wages, good benefits, good retirement, a dignified retirement here for workers in the 9th District. As a father of 3, I've had to navigate the challenges of raising a family, a healthy family, and working at the same time. I know that we need policies that help do that. And finally, as a public high school teacher, I know that here in Indiana, our public schools can be improved. We need more funding for our public schools. We need to value our teachers in a bigger way. And those are things that I'm excited about doing as your next representative here in the 9th. This is an open house seat, and I highly encourage you to do your research and get involved in this race. We here in the near future, and you can go to mattfife.com to learn more about this race and get involved and donate. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tanya Mills, candidate for U.S. House of Representatives, Indiana's 9th District. Are you fed up with the politics in Washington, D.C., the mess that's going on over there? I am too, and that's why I'm volunteering to be your voice in Indiana's 9th District. I have many plans and proposals to help fix the problems that we have over there. If you go to my website, tanyaforcongress.com, you can read my platform, the issues I care about, and I have a Roll It Back page because my campaign is called the Roll It Back campaign, to roll back the pesky rules and regulations that have been taking away our freedoms and liberties for years and years and decades under the broken two-party system. Our founding fathers did not, absolutely did not, want a two-party monopoly, what we call the It's been hurting our country for a long, long time, and it's long overdue for us to put a stop to it. And with your help, we can do that. One of the plans that I have is to eliminate the Internal Revenue Service. In 1913, the IRS came about, and it's grown into this big behemoth of an agency with people that do audits on you, and some constitutional scholars say taking tax money out of your paycheck to go to the federal level is theft. Taxation is theft at the federal level. My plan is to add to the current sales tax. In Indiana, we have a 7% sales tax. If we add a couple percentages to that sales tax, then the state can send money to the U.S. Treasury, and that would pay for our national defense, our roads, and the other things that we need to cover. The balanced budget is required by Congress, and we've gotten away from that, and we need to get back to that. The politicians on Capitol Hill, when I'm elected, they're going to hear me coming a mile away, and we will have a voice unlike we've never had before. So if you go to my website, you can check out my more detail. And I can give you an example of how the wealthy would pay their fair share. If I was to go to either Walmart or Kohl's to buy a $40 purse, I would pay the sales tax, and it would be on my receipt. So I would know in real time the taxes I'm paying. Or I could choose to go to the Coach leather store and pay $400 for a purse. Well, if I do that, then I'm paying more in taxes. And the wealthy who spend more money on high-end goods and yachts and this and that, they're going to be paying more in taxes simply because they spend more. And it's very easy. Transitioning to this, eliminating the IRS would benefit you as an individual, but also small businesses and entrepreneurs. A couple weeks ago, I was in New Albany at a small business forum at the Root, and we discussed all the things to help citizens with my Roll It Back campaign. And we had the discussion on the IRS as well. So what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. People used to say voting third party was a wasted vote. Well, now they're realizing that voting for the same old politicians, the same old duopoly, that's the wasted vote. So stand with me in November, be bold, and vote gold. I'm Tanya, and I'm running for Congress.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Nicholas Marshall, and I'm running for Indiana State Senate for District 45. That is all of Clark and a little bit of Floyd, which is about 10 to 12 precincts in New Albany. A little bit about me. I grew up in the foster care system since I was an infant due to my mother being having drug addiction and alcoholism, and my father being incarcerated. I was told many times that I would amount to anything or end up dead or not even going to college. But if it wasn't for the Lord and two wonderful sets of foster parents, I wouldn't be the person I am today. One of those sets of foster parents was a farmer who showed me what hard work is on a 40-acre farm. I got chased by cows, and I really enjoyed that time in the country. His wife was a teacher who taught me gentleness and kindness, who actually, only knowing me for 2 months, took me from Hancock County to Louisville to have heart surgery when I was 12. The other set was a military veteran. He is now arrested in Fort Knox, God rest his soul, who taught me what true respect for our country is and how to earn it. His wife was a caregiver that took that title to heart in order to care you have to give, and she took care of him until his passing. What I really wanted to start this journey on is my brother pushed me to do this. I had one of the pleasures of going to Frankfurt and speaking at the Kentucky Foster Care and Award ceremony for the state. And that same day, my brother challenged me, and he said, "Nick, look at you, setting up with the governor, hire people that can make decisions. We can't do anything, as he pointed to him and my biological sister, but you can. You made it. I need you to do something, Nick. Do something. And so that propelled me to start this journey on running for office. The things I want to stand for is in regards of public education. We are seeing that our teachers are not being paid enough, as well as there are different rules and regulations that the state is trying to pass. And we should be able to let the teachers be able to decide what they want to do in their classrooms. The other part is I've seen so many teachers quit the profession, as well as in the profession take money out of their pockets to help kids. And I was one of those kids that was helped by one of those teachers. So I want to give what they did to me, and well, especially with that foster parent that did that thing for me. Another thing that I care about is I'm a family of two now. Just recently had our second child, who's a girl. So now I'm a girl dad. And I started to think seriously about this situation of being pro-choice, and I am. Every woman should have the ability to control their body. And they should have that ability to do that because reproduction rights is a human right. But I also want to speak to my other side as well. There are kids currently in the foster care system, over 12,000 kids in the foster care, kids that were like me, that need a shot, that need help. And we have to get those resources and ready for them as well as with this recent SB1. We know what's going to happen in 5 to 10 years, maybe 20. There are going to be more kids that's going to be in the foster care system, so we need to get those social systems ready, the human infrastructure and the social systems ready for them. So I want to make sure that they are prepared to be successful as well. Another part is that is very dear to my heart is rehabilitation and drug addiction. We're seeing an increase in fentanyl overdoses. I see what alcoholism and drug addiction did to my mother. I was the only one to be a success story of being 1 in 5. If my mother had the resources she had today, we would have all been success stories. So what I want to do is making sure we get this correct and make sure that we help people who have that burden of drug addiction and not forget them after 3 or 6 months. I want to make sure that they're taken care of a year or 2 afterwards. So we have to make sure that these resources are allocated correctly and be able to make sure that every Hoosier has the ability to lift themselves up. And if they fall, we can catch them. So if you want to learn more about my campaign, you can go to HoosiersForNickMarshall.com or visit the Facebook page, Nick Marshall for State Senate District 45. But I want you to understand, before you get to the November election, I want you to find your purpose. And once you find your purpose, that'll give you the reason to go vote and get others to vote. Because we are at a crucial time in this state and this country that we have to find a purpose and something to fight for. I want to thank you for this time. Thank you for your support, as well as hopefully we'll see you in November.
My name is Gary Byrne, and I have the honor and the privilege to currently serve as the state senator for District 47. I'm asking for your vote in the election on November 8th. Please allow me to introduce myself. I was born and raised in Harrison County, and I live on a farm that's been in our family since 1806. I'm a Christian. My wife and Angie and I celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary this year. We have 3 sons married, Ryan and Daisy, Jordan and Jordan Marie, and Tyler and Cynthia. We have 7 grandchildren. For 39 years, I've been a small business owner of Burn Satellite and Security. We raise cattle on the farm, and I'm a Farm Bureau member, and I have their endorsement. As a constitutional conservative, I believe our founding fathers placed most of the powers with the states, not the federal government. We must fight against unelected bureaucrats infringing on our liberties and freedoms with mandates and executive orders. Through unwise policies and mismanagement, Joe Biden and the Democrats have inflicted great harm on the American people and our economy. The stock market is plunging, inflation is shrinking our buying power, making everything more expensive. Biden and the Democrats' war on domestic energy production has resulted in high gas prices. The cost of living is skyrocketed. Inflation and high gas prices are problems unleashed on us by Washington. But I want to do everything we can do to fight these problems at the state level. As a conservative, I live with its means, and when government has a surplus, it should return money to the taxpayers where it belongs and pay down its debt, including unfunded pension liabilities. This is why I voted to cut income and utility taxes, freeze the tax on gasoline, and use funds from the state budget surplus to send refund checks to Hoosiers, and pay down the state debt to the teachers' pension fund. Before serving in the state senate, I served on the North Harrison School Board for 8 years and the county council for 4 years. I am the only state senator who has served on a public school board. As a county council member, I never voted to increase taxes. I always voted to support law enforcement and our police, and I voted many times against unnecessary spending. Over half the state budget goes to education, and I believe my 8 years' experience on the school board is strongly needed in the state senate, especially when making decisions for our education system to benefit students, parents, teachers, and taxpayers. Schools are for education, not indoctrination. I have a proven conservative record of opposing liberal ideologies in our schools, both in the state senate and on the school board. I was a sponsor and voted for legislation to protect girls' sports from unfair competition by biological males. Governor Holcomb vetoed this bill. I voted to override his veto. I oppose teaching of critical race theory in our schools. As a proven conservative and lifelong resident of Southern Indiana, you can count on me to stand up to Indianapolis for our conservative values for Southern Indiana and against Biden and the Democrats' progressive agenda that is hurting America. I would appreciate your vote in the November 8th election and pledge to continue to serve as your conservative voice in the state senate. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, my name is Katie Ford, and I'm running for the Indiana State Senate in District 47, which is the majority of Floyd County, Harrison County, and Washington County. I got into the race to make sure that voters had a choice. I believe that it's important that we give voters choices. Over the past 20 years, I've had the opportunity to work as a line cook, a bartender, a waitress, a mental health worker, a teacher, a church musician, and now I work as a realtor to support my family. I've also been a single parent and the parent of a child who's on the spectrum, so I truly get how hard things are for families. I'm excited about the opportunity to run because I feel like there are a lot of things that we can do to make life better down here in Southern Indiana. We can make sure that we have affordable and reliable broadband throughout the 3 counties. We can make sure that our schools are well funded, and we can make sure that we increase access to care for all ages and stages of life. I firmly believe that everyone is entitled to their own religious opinions and views, and that those opinions and views can be lived out within one's religious communities and families, and that those issues have no business being dividing lines between the common ground that's needed to keep moving forward. I'm here to find that common ground, and I'm ready to get to work for you in the Indiana State Senate.
Hello, my name is Karen Engelman, seeking re-election for State Representative in District 70. I have served as your state representative since 2016. I represent all of Harrison County, Wood and Carr Township in Clark County, Greenville and part of Lafayette Township in Floyd County, Pierce, Polk, Posey, Howard, and Jackson townships in Washington County. I serve on local government regulatory reform, judiciary, and ethics committees at the State House. I also serve as the assistant floor leader, and I am chairing the Code Revision Interim Summer Study Committee. I am married to Gary Engelman. We have 5 children, 10 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. We live on a farm west of Georgetown in Harrison County. I have previously served as Harrison County Auditor for 14 years and Clerk Treasurer of the Town of Crandall for 7 years. I feel that my local government experience has been very helpful in my work at the State House. I value all of my constituents and would really appreciate your vote on or before November 8th so I can continue serving and working hard for all my constituents as state representative. Thank you so much.
Hi there, I'm Rita Fleming, and I have been honored to serve District 71 for 4 years in the Indiana House of Representatives. I am seeking a 3rd term in office. Serving as a legislator is time-consuming and often frustrating, but it is time well spent because we are making policy and enacting laws that affect every citizen in Indiana, and I take that very seriously. I'm proud of my strong bipartisan record. I carefully consider bills. I listen to both sides of a proposal and research the issues. I vote in a way that aligns with my conscience and best serves with the people who live in my district. As a former nurse and a retired obstetrician, healthcare ranks high on my list of priorities. I have authored, co-authored, and sponsored bills and resolutions to adequately fund our health departments, lower prescription drug costs, and promote transparency when you are charged for health care. I've advocated for bills to keep mothers and babies healthy, to combat our state's dismal maternal and infant mortality rate. I support property rights and responsible management of the taxpayers' money. I want to encourage business development, both large and small, with careful attention to workers' rights. I appreciate the support that I've received from unions, as well as farmers and others. I look to find ways for our senior citizens to stay in their home and be able to afford their property taxes so they can keep their house. I support public education and paying a salary that would keep our dedicated teachers and staff because their job is of utmost importance to the well-being of our young people. But there's much more to do, and I'm ready to work. I serve Jeffersonville, Clarksville, a little bit of Utica, and now part of New Albany, and I'm very honored to do that. I would appreciate your vote in November. Thank you so much.
My name is Ed Clear, and I am proud to represent House District 72 in the Indiana General Assembly. Thank you for allowing me the honor and privilege of serving as your voice in Indianapolis. I am running for re-election. I'm asking for your vote on November 8th so that I may continue to be a strong, independent representative of our community and a leader on difficult issues. To keep Indiana moving forward, Democrats and Republicans must work together. That isn't easy in today's divisive environment, but because of how divided we are, it is more important than ever. And I remain committed to doing my part. In addition to experience, I have a proven record of bipartisanship, and I will continue to work to bring people together to solve problems and pursue opportunities. Neither side has all of the good ideas, and everyone would benefit from less finger pointing and more listening. I continue to focus on making good policy and solving problems. For example, this year, I authored a bill that addressed a number of important health issues, including reducing infant mortality. My legislation, which passed with strong bipartisan support, raises the standards for the investigation of sudden unexplained infant deaths, providing insight that will be used to prevent additional deaths. It was one of many successful legislative initiatives I worked on this year. Looking forward, we face major challenges. First, we must support Hoosier families and small businesses in the fight against inflation. To do that, we will need to fund education and health and human services at levels that keep up with inflation. I will continue to fight for children and seniors and people with disabilities. In addition, workforce and housing are two policy areas that require significant ongoing attention, and they certainly have my attention. I am grateful for the opportunity to represent you, and I welcome your input. If you have a question or would like to discuss an issue or an idea or need help dealing with state government, feel free to call or email me. My cell phone number is 812-987-4333. That's 812-987-4333. And my email address is edclear@gmail.com. edcleare@gmail.com. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve. I would appreciate your vote on November 8th. Together, we will continue to build a better state and a brighter future.
Hello, my name is Kyle Rourke. I am running for House of Representatives District 72 here in Southern Indiana, more specifically Floyd County. I appreciate this opportunity today to speak with you all relative to my candidacy and a little bit about my background and policies. Where it all started, I grew up in Northeast Maryland in a middle-class family. My mother was a meat cutter, my father was a security guard at Chrysler. And upon finishing high school, I was able to secure a position, union position as a assembly line worker at Chrysler Corporation, Newark, Delaware. I worked in that position for 6 years and then transferred to Kokomo Transmission Plant in Kokomo, Indiana, all the while going to college at community colleges to better myself and try to learn about the automobile business. 1999, I was able to secure a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering degree. And upon securing that degree, I was able to secure many professional positions, production supervisor, test supervisor, financial analyst, reliability leader, amongst a few. Not only did I work at Chrysler, I worked at Cummins Engine in Columbus, but I also worked at Ford Motor Company here in Louisville. Along with that, I've been married, and I'm currently married, and I have 4 children. My first wife is from Jackson County, Indiana, and I've been in this area for about 15 years, currently residing in Southern Indiana with an aggregate of 25 years in Southern Indiana. From a community involvement perspective, I've been a den leader for Cub Scouts up in Seymour, Indiana for a couple years, and I also volunteered for ESGR, which is the Employer Support for the Guard and Reserve, which supported the armed forces in Camp Atterbury. In addition to that, in 2010, I had an opportunity to join the Navy. So I joined the Navy as a Navy Reserve officer, more specifically a civil engineering officer. Served in that capacity for 8 years in the reserve component. And then I was called to active duty in the Navy Recruiting Command for 3 years in Louisville. In that community service is awarded me great skills and knowledge about
how to work with people, how to solve problems, and how to work, across different demographics and get along with folks with competing interests and competing ideals. I think those are the skills that are necessary for this role as a House of Representatives delegate. I think you need to be able to work with different communities to get something done for Floyd County. In addition to that, I've also held 3 teaching positions, adjunct instructor positions. I was at Ivy Tech for 3 years as an adjunct, Sullivan for a few months teaching statistics, and I also taught at ITT for 2 years as an adjunct. I also have 3 graduate degrees, one from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, financial engineering, one from the University of Chicago, Master of Arts, Public Policy, and then finally one from the J.B. Speed School here at the University of Louisville, and with the Master of Science Electrical Engineering. With all those graduate programs and experiences, I feel like I'd be a great candidate to help out Southern Indiana and more specifically Floyd County. A little bit about some of my policy positions I'd like to focus on. First of all, I'd like to focus in on, inflation. Inflation is really hurting folks financially and their families. We are seeing gas prices come down a little bit, but food prices are still up there. So I'd like to propose a 6-month gas tax holiday. I'd also, in addition to that policy, obviously it goes without saying, but I want to, support women's rights, of course. Any opportunity to modify SB 1, the new abortion legislation, I'd like to codify or modify that if possible. Climate change, I like to focus in on climate change acknowledgement and policies. And then, obviously I am pro-worker, pro-police, pro-firefighter, pro-military, pro-teacher. Those are kind of my platforms. I'm a moderate voice for change, and I feel like I can do a really good job for Floyd County and build those common interests. Thank you very much, and have a great day, and have a blessed future, and Harvest Homecoming's coming, so we'll see you then. Thank you. Have a great day.